You guys are back again in the old school. Hey guys, I'm the Retro Reject, and of course, if you saw my last video, you probably realize what video this is. It's my top 10 least favorite Godzilla monsters. And of course, same explanation as I gave in the previous one. I tried to upload it multiple times, but of course Toho copyright claimed me, so I had to go back and edit it and just try to please Toho, because they're really sensitive about what you put on YouTube. In fact, some of the footage I had to, some of the footage from the movies were like Godzilla vs. King Kong, Godzilla Final Wars, and then Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. So, yeah, I had to spend some time on this. So, once again, I really hope you guys enjoy it, because I had to spend a lot of time on this video. So, once again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, whatever the heck you want to do. And let's get right on into it!
Number 10, Hedorah. Now, this is probably one of my most controversial picks on my least favorite list, but I have some very good reasons why I don't like this guy. Well, to first start off, that he only starred in 2 movies, which were, of course, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, and then all he had was a small cameo in Godzilla Final Wars. Besides that, I don't like this guy because, well, he doesn't really provide much of a good fight against Godzilla. All he does is throw his slime and sludge all over people. And, man, that's disgusting. But I can give this credit to Toho. He's actually one of the more unique monsters in the franchise. He's created out of pollution, and he can take on many different forms. And some of his other powers are like spraying people with acid and laser eyes. I mean, you can't go wrong with lasers. But his main power is to throw sludge all over people. And what he did to Godzilla was that he threw him into a pit and then dumped his sludge all over him. I mean, how dare you do that to the king of the monsters? But that's not the main reason why I don't like this guy. The main reason is that I was afraid of him. I mean, specifically in this scene where he's basically crop dust people and reduces them to bones. I was 8 when I watched this, so if the kid in the movie's scared, who thought it was a good idea to show this to the public? Besides that, like I said, he's actually one of the very unique monsters. He takes on many different forms, like a landing mode, then a flying saucer mode, and then a bipedal monster form, which does nothing and just stands around and hopes its attacks work. And how it was defeated in the movie was that basically Godzilla used his atomic breath to charge these electric panels, and then basically the electricity just burned Hedorah and dried him up, and then Godzilla just dug into his body and pulled out 2 white orbs. I mean, people say it's his eyes, but I thought they were eggs when I was a kid. But let's back this up a bit. This guy was defeated by electricity, the most available substance in the world. I mean, excuse me, but Gabra could defeat this guy with his shocking hands. Gabra could defeat him. I rest my case. So yeah, I consider Hedorah one of my least favorite monsters because he's just a very weak monster despite what Godzilla fans say, and he scared me as a child. And seeing how the world is polluted today, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing showed up in real life. And I wouldn't like that. Number 9. Manda. There's really nothing special about this guy. He's just a giant dragon. He doesn't have any specific powers to him. But I guess the only interesting thing about him is that he starred in his own movie, which was Atragon, and then Destroy All Monsters, and then Godzilla Final Wars. But, like I said, there's really nothing that special about him. He's just a giant dragon. I guess he was very quick and nimble in Final Wars, but that's it. And considering that I haven't seen Atragon, I really don't know how to judge him. All I can say is that I'm pretty sure he did something in that movie, but he's just a giant dragon. That's it. Number 8. Goresaurus. Now, when it comes to both Goresaurus and Manda, I'm pretty much dead even with how much I don't like them, but there's a specific reason why I put Goresaurus a little bit lower. He only starred in 2 movies, which were King Kong Escapes and then Destroy All Monsters, and he's definitely a very interesting monster, and he actually did fight Hedorah and Destroy All Monsters, and he does have this cool moment where he does this kangaroo kick, basically, but he's just a giant T-Rex. There's really nothing special about him, and his only purpose was so that King Kong could rip another dinosaur's jaw open, which he did in King Kong Escapes. But other than that, he's just a giant T-Rex. And that's kind of why I put Manda before Goresaurus, because at least Manda probably did something in his movie, but Goresaurus, he's just a dinosaur. Now, dinosaurs may be cool, but Goresaurus practically did nothing to the Godzilla franchise. Sorry, Goresaurus. Number 7. Manda, or Manila, or as he's better known as, the son of Godzilla. Well, not really, because he looks nothing like Godzilla. Now, as much as I love to hate this guy and put him at number 1, as many G fans would expect me to do, well, he's not the worst monster. There are far a lot worse monsters out there. He starred in a couple of movies which were Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla's Revenge, and then Godzilla Final Wars. Manda's whole purpose in the Godzilla series was so that the series could become more kid-friendly, but I don't watch Godzilla movies for this Pillsbury Doughboy-looking monster. I come for the destruction of cities and monsters beating the heck out of each other. Not talking monsters, no less.
Hey! Come on over here! I won't hurt you! You won't? No! Don't be afraid!
So, yeah, that's why he's on the worst list. But the reason why I don't put him any higher is because, well, when I watch him, he just makes me laugh, and I feel like that's the only positive that comes out of Manila. But of course, there's many negatives, like, he doesn't look like the son of Godzilla, and Godzilla doesn't even deserve a son. When he tries to teach him how to use his fire breath, all he does is puff smoke rings, and he threatens to abuse him, and he also steps on his tail so that he can breathe fire. Well, he's giving him love. But whenever Manila doesn't want to do anything, he just drags him off by his tail, and Manila makes this weird sound. Wait a minute, since I'm talking about Manila, let's play that Gabra launch again. Man, that never gets old. But anyway, Manda is definitely a poor representation of the son of the king of the monsters. And as much as I hate him, there are far a lot worse Godzilla monsters out there than him. Number 6. Zilla. Yes, the terrible 1998 American version of Godzilla. I mean, it's surprising how many things they got wrong with Godzilla when they made this movie. And of course, she only starred in 2 movies, which were, of course, the American 1998 Godzilla movie, and then even got an appearance in Godzilla Final Wars. But I love her appearance in that, because basically, she fights Godzilla, but she only lasts for a matter of 5 seconds. But that's pretty much about it. She's just, once again, a very poor representation of the King of the Monsters. The only positive I can think that came out of her was that she spawned a really good cartoon series, which was literally called Godzilla the Series. And in that series, she would fight other monsters, completely unlike her counterpart in the movie, where all she did was destroy the city. And she was defeated by the military, which is something Godzilla, the real Godzilla, would never allow. She doesn't even have fire breath. She's just a very poor representation of the King of the Monsters, and I'm glad the real Godzilla defeated her in 5 seconds. Number 5. Kumonga, the giant spider. That's it. She's just a giant spider. She appeared in Son of Godzilla, and even in Destroy All Monsters, and even an appearance in Godzilla Final Wars. But she's definitely an interesting monster because she's not played by a guy in a rubber suit. She's actually played by a puppet, so it's interesting with her design, but she's just a giant spider. All she does is spray webbing. She can play dead, which is a very unique trait to her. And an interesting thing is that she actually blinded Godzilla, so that's something very few monsters did in the series, so that's, I guess, a positive for her. But it's just a giant spider. There's really no contest when Godzilla fights a giant spider. Of course, they defeat her. Even Manda defeats her. Manda defeats her. So yeah, Kumonga, the giant spider. I don't know what's up with Toho in the 60s, just making giant monster versions of regular animals. But wait until you see the next 4, because they're bad. Number 4, the giant octopus. It's just a giant octopus. But surprisingly, it starred in a few movies, which were, of course, Godzilla vs. King Kong, an alternate ending of Frankenstein Conquers the World, and even in a scene of War of the Gargantuas. But it's just a giant octopus. There's nothing special about it. I mean, I guess it was interesting that it was played by both a live animal and a puppet, but I could just list off random facts about an octopus and that could explain its powers. Like if you cut an octopus's arm off, it would regrow, and an octopus has 3 hearts, and the octopus is very intelligent. It's just a giant octopus. Okay, on to the next 3. Number 3, Kamacuras, the giant mantis. Well, it only starred in a couple of movies, which were Son of Godzilla, and then, of course, Godzilla Final Wars. It's just a giant praying mantis! Toho, give me something to work with here! I'm actually seriously getting tired of just saying it's a giant whatever. There's nothing special about a giant praying mantis! Ugh. Okay, on to the next 2. I'm pretty sure they're probably just gonna be a giant animal, so let's get it over with. Number 2, Hedorah the... giant shrimp. It only starred in one movie, which was, of course, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, or also known as Hedorah Horror of the Deep. It's just a giant shrimp! There's no contest when Godzilla fights a giant shrimp. I mean, I guess the battle was interesting because it took place in water, but when Godzilla fights a giant shrimp, there's no contest. He might as well use his atomic breath to boil the water around him and then served him on a silver platter with melted butter. I mean, look at him. He's playing with the crab claws like I would normally do with my own crabs at Red Lobster. And he looks like a red lobster. I mean, seriously, what was up with Toho in the 60s just making a giant monster version of a shrimp? Okay, let's just go to number 1. I can't wait to see what it is. Number 1. No. It's a giant condor. It starred in Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, or Hedorah Horror of the Deep. It's just a giant condor. It stars in one of the worst battles in Godzilla movie history. You could not see anything what was going on. Well, my job is done here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, whatever the heck you want to do. And the old school is out!